But then there was this other side that she recognized in him that was destined to be the king, that was substantiated as a king, and that was powerful enough to be a king. Now, if he didn't have ears to hear and a God to glorify, which direction might he have gone? Let's go to verse 35, Amplified. Verse 35. In the morning, Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed with David, and a little lad was with him. And he said to his lad, "Run, find the arrows." Keep reading.
But the lad knew nothing. Only Jonathan and David knew the matter. Jonathan gave his weapons to his lad and told him, "Go up and carry them to the city."
Keep reading.
As soon as the lad was gone,
David arose from the side of the heap of stones
and fell on his face to the ground and bowed himself 3 times. And they kissed one another and wept with one another until David got control of himself. And Jonathan told David, "Go in peace. For as much as you have sworn to each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord shall be between me and you, and between my descendants and yours forever." And Jonathan arose and departed to the city.
Now see, this was a deal that was struck between them that if certain things happened, David was to leave in order to preserve his own life. Now at this point in time, Jonathan had to make a decision. Am I going to go with David, or am I going to stay faithful to my father? So he had experienced 2 soul ties, and I believe that it was honorable the way he went out. I do believe that. Simply because he kept his word to both people. However, David would have possibly ran into trouble trying to become his destiny because of people. People would have tried to choose the son of the king if all of them didn't get wiped out. So for the greater glory, him being tied to 2 made his choices easy. Because there are those people who you can be soul tied to that will ensure your success, even if they hate you. They can't stand you, but I'll ensure your success. Simply because I believe that's my purpose. The only reason I met you was to make you successful. You're not hearing me now. You just read the story. The only reason I met you, the only reason I'm here, I fear eternal damnation if I don't get you to the place you're supposed to be. As ignorant as you may be, I have to shoot arrows out there to let you know the markings, to get your tail up out of here, to save your life. Some of us need arrows shot by us. Maybe even a 9mm shot at your feet. To get us away from where we ain't supposed to be. The kingdom is yours, but not at this time. The kingdom is yours, David, but not at this time. If you try to move now, it's going to kill you. If you try to move now, you're going to be, you pulling your little antics still by cutting the skirt off after this whole event had taken place. But, all this time, now this is all preceding Saul's pursuit of David. The reigning king is trying to kill the future king, but the future king has the skills to kill the reigning king. But if he kills the reigning king, you can't kill what you are to be for the fact that you kill what's in you because you have created a killing of it. So if you ever want to become something in life, if you ever meet somebody that you admire in life, let me tell you something. If you kill them, with your mouth, by reputation, even if you see them fail and you don't disallow it, you can be killing yourself because you're so tied to the wrong thing. Don't think that if they die, you're going to replace them. If they die, it better be by natural attrition or some act of God. It better not be by your hands or the allowance of it by your hand, because if it does, you killing your future. I hope you always remember that, because it's bigger than the man, or it's bigger than the person. Jezebel was only wanting to dominate. That was her only cause in life. And she created priests to preach what she wanted to hear. Sisters, you have to be really careful about women ministries. Period. Because one thing about it, when women fail and they were ministers, a lot of times the first thing they think is they failed because they was called to preach to wounded women. And so they start talking woman to you and get to your sympathetic mentality. Then before you know it, all y'all start gathering up, and that's called commiseration. That means we're bringing all of our miseries to the place. Nobody's getting healed. Everybody's just crying. And, you know, nobody's getting healed. All y'all just come together to cry. She understands us. God has anointed her to understand us. And what's going on is all y'all just got a crying party going on. And you see after a while, these women ministries, you got one hen and like 6 or 7 biddies following you around. All the men gone. Or some men sitting up in there watching. What did she say? And all the women said, ain't saying nothing to the men. Nothing. But what's funny to me is how men were supposed to be dominant. Women supposed to know their place. And none of those men, those seedless men in the kingdom, could stand up and say the queen is out of her place. You know, I respect Xerxes for putting Vesti in her place. But Ahab would not put Jezebel in her place. Instead, let her raise up 300 false prophets to eat at the table with her when she eats. Another, what was it, 400, 450? Out there trying to take on a true prophet and lost. You have to understand the odds that's against you. You have to understand that if there's a call on your life, you can't just sit there and say, well, I'm just going to wait until the Lord called me higher. You know, if your shepherd ever asks you to do something, you better do it. Because you got to have a plank before you have a house. I don't care what your house made out of, it's got a plank in it somewhere. We have to figure out what we're so tied to. What would be the impact on our lives if we don't get away from it? Because whatever it does, we will do eventually if we are not untied from it. I said, whatever it does, we will do. See, many of us are so tied to our parents. Our parents mean us no good for this time. See, we wasn't born to turn around and take care of parents because we didn't ask to be born. Now you take care of them when they cannot take care of themselves. But we also have to remember that the devil can use parents if they're not being used by God. I'm not trying to turn anybody against their parents, but I'm saying you have to be on your P's and Q's about everything that happens. Jesse was not going to let Samuel see David. That wasn't going to happen. Do you understand? Jeremiah's father punked out under pressure. Why didn't Isaac have more of a role in who was supposed to take charge? You know, he fell victim to his own favoritism. When Rebekah was told before they was even born that the younger would rule the elder. But because Jacob liked Esau better than he did, because Isaac loved Esau better than he did Jacob, he let emotion and preference get in the way of destiny. Folks, what I'm telling you is as you grow up, you're going to find that there are hard choices you have to make. But try your spirit first. And if you don't know your spirit, then talk to somebody. And maybe somebody can tell you, because even a fish knows not to bite at a meatless hook. We enjoy a fish dinner, but that fish was not caught on an empty hook. It takes a real stupid fish to sit there and just bite a hook with no taste whatsoever. Oh, it's a hook. Fry me. I'm not gonna sit here and think I know everything. There may be some suicidal fish. But I'm going to tell you this. If you're destined, then you have to free yourself from people who are not destined.
His church is in his living room. God wouldn't tell him to start that church. He said God told him to have church on base without permission. Is she married? Is he single? I heard you have to put your LES in the offering bucket. It's too much order in that church. Does he really kick people out of that church? God don't want you in church that much. God knows my heart. I thought there was only 12 apostles. Who said he's an apostle?
Here's what happens. You meet God, and God says, I want to use you. 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 I want to use you.